Before we begin, if you don't have Premiere Pro installed on your system, you can go to the Adobe website and download a free trial. You can then go ahead and launch the program. The first step is to create a new project. You can click the icon here or go to File, New Project. You have to give a name to the project. Let's give first video. You have to select the location where you want to save the file. You can leave the rest of the settings as it is and then click on OK. You will be then taken to the Premiere Pro interface. To import media, you can double click here or you can right click, select import. You can do the same thing by going to file, hitting the import button here. Let's import some files. Navigate to the project files. It's very important to keep your files organized before importing into Premiere Pro. You have to copy the footage into the video folder, music into the audio folder, photos into the stills, VFX. You can import the folder as a whole or you can go inside it and import the individual files. Let's import the folder. You can see that the files have been imported. To begin the editing process, you have to create a timeline or a sequence. To create a sequence, you can go to the new item button here, click on sequence. You can do the same thing by going to file, new, selecting the sequence. Premiere Pro already has different presets available for different types of cameras like Red, Arri Alexa, Blackmagic Design, Canon XF. If you are shooting in a DSLR or iPhone, you can select the preset here. Let's select the 1080p 25 as it's matching to our video. Give a name to the file, first video. You can see that a sequence is created with the green icon here on the project panel. Let's take a look at the project panel. You can view the files in two ways, list view and the icon view. You can increase the size of the icons by dragging the slider here. Drag it to the right side to increase the size. You can search for a particular file in the search bar. Double click on a file to rename it. You can give a name camera B. To create a new folder, you can hit the new bin button. You can rename the folder. Drag and drop files into the folder. You can view the different files and also create new items which will be covered in the future lesson. Let's take a look at the source panel. To open a clip, you can double click on the clip. It will open up here. Scrub through the clip to see what's happening. You can hit the spacebar button to play through the clip. To add markers, you can click on the marker button here. You can also add another marker in the marker. To clear the marker, you can right click and click on clear all markers. To select a specific portion of a clip, you have to set in and out point. Set the in point, hit the I button. So set the out point, hit the O button. You can drag and drop it. Do the same thing by clicking on the insert button here. Click on this. It will insert on the timeline here. If you want to overwrite a clip, you can move to the clip and click on the overwrite button and the clip will be overwritten. Move frame by frame by hitting the button here. Let's take a look at the timeline panel where you will be editing the project. Bring a clip, you can drag and drop it onto the timeline. You can play through the clip using the playhead. The audio track is currently muted. The timeline consists of the video tracks and the audio tracks. You can play through the clip and use the spacebar button. You can adjust the zoom, also the track height. To bring a specific portion of a clip, you can double click it here and it will open up in the source panel. You can see what is happening. To set a in point, you can hit the I button. Select a point, hit the O button for the out point. Drag and drop it to the timeline. You can select video only and audio only. Let's take a look at the different tools used for editing. So here are the tools. Let's do the selection tool. Selection tool is used for trimming clips. You can go to the end of a clip and drag it. You will be trimming the clip. Go to the other end. You can see that both the audio and video is connected for this clip. You can unlink it. Move the audio and video around separately. Move it around in any of the tracks. To delete a clip, you can hit the backspace button. Let's undo that. To delete a gap, hit the ripple delete button. Right click ripple delete. The gap will be deleted. You can trim it. To select a bunch of clips, you can drag and select it and move it around. You can do this easily by the track forward tool. So let's select the track forward tool. The track select forward tool. You can move every clips to the right side. Drop a clip in between this. The track backward tool is used to select clips to the left side. So you can select and drag, move clips around. If you are using the selection tool to trim a clip, it will leave a gap. You will have to ripple delete it. To do this in a single step, you can use the ripple edit tool. So you can select the ripple edit tool and then trim the clip. As you trim the clip, you can see that the gap is gone. Trim to the right side. Next one is called the rolling edit tool. This will affect both sides of a clip. As you drag it, you can see that the screen is turned into two parts, both the sides of the clip. As we trim, we can use this to match actions. Next one is the rate stretch tool. This is used to change the duration of a clip. You can slow down or fasten a clip. As you play through this, we can see that the clip has slowed down. It is playing slowly. If you decrease the size of the clip, it will play fast. You can see that it has slowed down even further. Decrease the size, it will play fast. The razor tool is used to cut the clips into different parts. You can hit the button and cut the clips. You can select the clip by going back to the selection tool, then moving it around. Delete a part of a clip by hitting it and backspace button. To cut the video only portion of a clip, you can hold the Alt command. Let's select the razor tool, hold the Alt command and click. You can see that only the video portion is cut into part. You can move the parts around. To cut through a series of clips, you can hold the Shift command and the razor tool. When you cut through the middle, you can see that it has all the clip above and below it. To add a video effect, go to the effects panel. If you don't see that, you can go to the icon here and select the effects. You see a couple of folders. You can go to the video effects folder. There are a wide variety of effects which you can add to a video. Let's search for the noise effect. Noise. You can go down. You can see the noise and grain folder. Under this, you can see the noise effect. Let's drag and drop this onto the clip. To view this effect on the clip, go to the effects controls panel and go down. You can see that the effect is applied here. Noise effect. Currently the effect is not applied. You have to change the value. So let's change the value of the amount of noise. Increase it. You can see that the change is reflected on the video. As we increase, the noise is increasing. To reset this, you can click on the button and give 0. Do the same thing by clicking on the reset parameter button here. Let's increase this. You can turn on and off the effect here in the effects button. You can click on it to turn it off and on. Okay, now let's add another effect. Let's add a Gaussian blur. Search for blur. Go down to this and select the Gaussian blur. Drag and drop it onto the clip. So you can see Gaussian blur is added. Let's increase the blurriness. The video is become blurry. Reset it. Increase both of this thing. Let's copy and paste this effects to another video. Let's select both the effects and hit the Command C button, then the Command V button. Now the effects is copied to both of these clips. To add effect to your audio, go to the effects panel, select the audio effects folder. You will see a wide range of effects which you can add. Let's add a parametric equalizer. Let's search for the parametric equalizer. Drag and drop it. So now it gets added to this clip. Let's edit this and see what happens to the audio. Let's play the clip and see what happens.
And this Mrs. Gandhi is showing symptoms of delivery.
40 the level.
14th level.
Oh, the move delivery parent.
There are presets also available which you can add. So let's add a preset.
Move delivery parent. Washing.
To copy this effect to another clip, you can right click and hit copy. Go to the other clip and Command V. So it will get copied to that clip. Let's play through the clip and see what happens.
Doctors.
Let's take a look at another effect, the studio reverb. Search for the reverb. Drop it on the. Let's edit this. You can add a preset.
Sorry.
So this is how you add effects to your audio. To add transition, navigate to the effects panel and go to the video transitions folder. You can see different types. So let's look at the dissolve transition. The cross dissolve is added as the default transition. As of now, you can change this by right clicking. The easiest way to add a transition is to go to the end of a clip and right click, apply default transitions. So let's play this. You can increase the length of the transition. Do the same thing in the effects controls panel. You can vary the duration. So let's apply a transition between two clips. To do that, you can select the cross dissolve, drag and drop this. So the transition is applied between the clips. As you can see, you can vary the length by dragging it. Now let's replace this transition by a band wipe transition. So you select the band wipe, and drop it onto the, so this is replaced now. You can vary the length here in the effects controls panel. To delete this transition, select this and hit delete or backspace button. This is how you add transitions to clip. The audio transitions can be found under the effects panel. So there are mainly three types of audio transitions that you can apply. Constant power is set as the default transition. You can change this by right clicking. Let's add a transition to the clip. So you can move between edit points by hitting the up and down arrow. So let's add this constant power. You can add it before a clip or between the clips or the end of a clip. Let's play this transition. So you can see that gradual change is happening between the audio. As you can see in the graph which shows this, there is a smooth change. If you add the constant gain, see the graph here that it's a linear change, so it will be sudden change. It's better to apply the constant power transition. You can vary the length by dragging it. You can also change it here in the effects controls panel. Double click and change the duration. Change it to 2 seconds, so you can 2 colon and it will change to 2 seconds. The exponential fade transition is used to fade, as you can see, similar to that of constant gain. Every clip on the timeline has native effects added to it. Let's take a look at the video effects. It consists of three types: motion, opacity, time remapping. Under the motion, you will find settings like position, scale, rotation, anchor point, anti-flicker filter. The position is used to change the image from left to right. You can move the image up and down. Zoom in on the image using the scale button. Zoom in. Zoom out and make the image smaller. The uniform scale is checked as default. You can uncheck that and move the height and width separately. Change the height. Change the width. Rotation is used to rotate the image up to 360 degrees. Anchor point is the midpoint which acts as a reference. So if you move the anchor point to the edge of this, let's look at what happens. Let's rotate this image. So you can see that with respect to the anchor point, the image is rotating. You can move the clip. So the anchor point acts as a reference. The image will scale up with reference to the anchor point. Let's reset everything. So if you need to move everything together, every effect manually, you can click on this square button near the motion. So this will allow you to do everything on the program panel. You can move the clip around, you can zoom in, scale it, you can rotate it. If you go to the end, go to the edge of the clip, you can rotate it. To come out of this, you can just click anywhere outside and it will come out. Let's reset that. Opacity is used to change the brightness of the image. So if you reduce it, you can see the change. To do animation or keyframing, click on a clip and open the effects controls panel. This is where you will be adding the keyframes. So next to each and every parameter, you will see this stopwatch icon. This is used to add a keyframe. So click on this stopwatch and it will add a keyframe. To add another keyframe, go ahead in the clip and click on this. To move between the keyframes, use the arrow buttons. So make sure that you fall on the keyframe. Let's animate the position. Let's go to the end and move it to the right. So as you play through the clip, you can see the clip is animating to the right. To increase the speed, you can bring the keyframes closer. It will move very fast. Now let's animate the scale. So click on the stopwatch to add a keyframe. Let's remove the keyframes on the position. Click on OK. Add a keyframe. Now let's zoom in on the clip. You can see the clip animating over time. Now let's do both of this together. So add a keyframe to the position again. Now let's move this to the right, down. Now you can see both the scaling and position is moving. Let's remove both. Try animating a new effect. Add a blur effect, the Gaussian blur. So search for the Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur effect. You can select the Gaussian blur and drop it. Let's add a keyframe to the blurriness. Add under keyframe. Change the value of blurriness. You can see the clip blurs over time. To add a text or graphics to your video, you have to go to the graphics workspace and you will see essential graphics panel. You have to go to edit and click on the icon here. You will see that you can add text and shapes. Let's add a text. So you will see that a text is created on top of the video. You can double click this and change. Make sure that you have the selection tool selected, and then you can move it around wherever you want. You can do the same here in the essential graphics panel. You can change the position, you can scale this, you can change the opacity, you can even change the font to any other you like. If you want to add a shape, you go back to the new layer button here, click on rectangle or ellipse. You can see that a rectangle is added. You can change the features of this rectangle by going to the appearance panel here. You can disable this, add stroke if you require. You can change the fill color. So once you have created whatever you require, you will see that a layer is appeared on the timeline. You can move this around wherever you want. You can edit this like any other video file. You can trim this and move it around. You can place it on beginning of the video, end of the video. If you want to remove this, you can just click on this and add the delete button or the backspace button. In this tutorial, we will be learning how to color correct your image in Premiere Pro. So the first thing you have to do is go to the color workspace. Then you will see this Lumetri color panel appear on the right side. Then go to your clip. We will be color grading this clip. So you can go here and select the Lumetri scopes. We will be color grading this in 3 steps using 3 different scopes. So the first scope is this waveform. How do you read this waveform? You read it from left to right. For example, you can see that when I play this, that the left side is moving, the guy is moving. If I stop and go to the, you can see that a lady is approaching and the right side is moving. You read the image from left to right. You see that this graph is running from 0 to 100. So 0 represents the shadows or the darkest part of the image, and 100 represents the brightest part or the highlights. An ideal image should lie between 0 to 100. Let's correct this to 0 to 100. So for that you will use the curves tool. This is the curves tool. It is very powerful. The top part represents the highlights which you can change. If you pull this to the right, you can see that the highlights are increasing. If you pull this to down, you can see that the highlights are decreasing. That you are making the image more brighter when you pull it to the left side. So as you can see, we are pulling it to reach 100. You do not want to overexpose this. This is what happens when you overexpose. So you have to make it in such a way that it approaches 100. I think this is ideal. Reaches 100. So you have set the image to reach to 100. Next thing you have to do is you have to set the black portion. That is, you have set the shadows. So you can bring down the image. If you pull it to the right, you see that you are pulling it down to 0. If you pull this up, you can see that making the image more white. So you have to pull it to the right, approach 0. We have done the first part, that is first step is to set the black and white levels. So we have made it to 0 to 100. So the next step is to remove any color cast in this image. To go to the next scope, that is the RGB parade. So this is the RGB parade. You can right click and select RGB. You can remove the waveform, and as you can see, it is showing the red, green and the blue channels. The image is made of red, green and blue channels. Everything should be the same. You can see from this waveform that the blue is less in this image. What you have to do, you have to select the blue color here and you have to increase this to match to the red and green channel. You can see that there is a red color tint in this image, so you can move this to just approach that blue color. So now that's done, you have made it equal. So you have performed the second part, you have removed the color cast. So you have to see that if anything is higher or less, you have to equalize this using the curves tool. So the next thing you have to do is select the skin tone and set it. So for that we have to use the vectorscope. And the next thing is the vectorscope. You have to right click and choose the vectorscope. So this is the vectorscope picture. What it is showing the red channel, the green channel, the blue channel, everything. It is showing the amount of red, green, blue in the image. So this is the complementary colors. The complementary colors to red is cyan, to blue it is yellow, and to green it is magenta. So the whatever changes you bring to this image, it should lie between this. It should not cross this line what they have drawn here. And you see that a middle line is passing through this. This is called the skin tone line, and your skin color should be matching to this line. It should lie in this line. It should not move to the right or the left. It should lie on this line. To do that, we have to go to the saturation. You can go to the basic correction and select the saturation. We can see that the image is looking a bit dull. We can increase the saturation under the basic correction here. So we can put in a little bit of, don't go too over. You can see that when you pull this out, it is looking too much. So what you have to do is you have to put in a little bit of saturation so that his face looks normal. As you can see, the skin tone is bit over, so we can just decrease this. I think that's his idea. You can see that his skin tone is moving on that line itself, so it should stay on that line. So this is how we do the color correction. This is performed in 3 steps. So this is after color grading. If you turn the effect off, this is before color grading. To change the speed duration of a clip, you can right click speed duration. If you need to go it faster, make it greater than 100%. You will give 300% and click OK. Now the video will play fast. If you need to play it slower, you can make it less than 100%. You can make it 50%. Now the video will play very slowly. Make sure that you have shot your video and double the frame rate. to enable smooth playback, or else you can select the optical flow setting. Hi, in this video I will be showing you how you can export a frame as an image. So to do that, you can go to the frame which you want and then go and click on this export frame button. If you don't see this, you can go to an editor and add this from this list. You can drag and drop this icon. So to export the frame as an image, go to the frame, click this button. It will ask you where to save. You can select the format and give the path and click on OK. In this video, let's look at how you can do speed ramping or time remapping. So we can select this portion where this water is coming out. Let's play that in slow motion. So to do that, let's first make this track bigger, and then you can right click, show clip keyframes, time remapping, and you make sure that you have speed selected. So you will see this line. So you have to go to the point where you want the slow motion to start. So let's start from here. You have to hold down command and click on this, and this will drop a point. You can also use the pen tool. So let's go to this end here, and then again I'm showing you using the pen tool. You can put a point here, and now what you have to do is you have to slow this down between these 2 points. So you can click and drag this down. So 100% is the normal speed, and below 100 you are making the clip slower. So let's make it to like 30%. So now this is made slower. So let's play through that. So like this you have made it slower. Hi, in this video we'll be looking at how you can create a video in text effect. So for doing that, you can go to the graphics workspace, then type something. You can type any title which you want, and then just using this, you can just use this and align it. You can increase the size of this. Then what you have to do is you have to go to this dialog box here and then click on new layer and import the video file. So I am importing a video here. So now that video is imported. So what you have to do is you have to put this underneath the text. So you have to just drag and put it underneath this. So now this text is on top of the video. Now you should select the text, and there is an option called mask with text. So just click on that and you have made your video in text effect. So you can play through this. You can see that it is moving. You can extend the duration of the video. So this is the most simple way to do this effect. To export your final file after editing, make sure you have the timeline selected, go to File, Export, Media, or hit the Ctrl plus M button. You will be taken to the export setting. You can scrub and see the timeline. Make sure you have the source range and their sequence selected. The Premiere Pro has the different settings. Let's select the format. So there are different types of format which Premiere Pro can output. H.264 is the best option if you are outputting to the internet. There are presets available for Facebook, mobile devices, Twitter, Vimeo and YouTube. Let's select the YouTube setting. You can choose where you want to save the file. Navigate to the project files folder. To output and save. Export audio and export video should be ticked. Premiere Pro has already set the options automatically. If you need a higher quality, you need to change this bitrate setting. You can see the file size now. If you increase the bitrate, the file size will increase. More the bitrate, more the quality, but the file size will increase. Let's reset this back. We can go back to the preset, make it YouTube. Now you can hit the export button to export your file. Hi, in this video I'll be showing you how you can export faster in Premiere Pro. So you have to upgrade to the latest version. So it supports hardware encoding. So it should be version here. And what you have to do is you have to make sure that your project settings, you have selected your graphic card as the main option. So if you have a AMD or a NVIDIA card, you have to choose that. And after that, you have to go to the preferences, media, and you have to tick this enable hardware accelerated encoding. And you have to restart Premiere Pro. Afterwards, you can go to export, media, and under this setting, you can see this hardware encoding is enabled. Make sure that that is selected, and you can just export your final file. Hi, in this video I want to share to you 5 video editing tricks which you can use in Premiere Pro. So the first one is the Q and W shortcuts. If you use the Q, you can cut any portion of the clip to the left side. If you hit the W key, you can cut portion to the right side. So it is used to cut the head and tail of the clips very easily. The next, to duplicate any clip, you can select the clip and then hold the Alt key. And if you drag this, it will duplicate the clip. This is very useful. The next tip, if you have a bunch of clips on the timeline and if you need to cut through this, you can select the razor tool and hold the shift key and you can cut through all of the clips. The next tip is about scrolling. So if you are on a project and if you are playing through the clip, Sometimes the playhead will not follow the timeline. So to do that, you can go to Preference Timeline and select Smooth Scroll. So what this will do is when you're in the end of the clip, it will follow that clip. For example, if you are end of this, it will automatically follow the timeline. If you are working on a project with a specific duration, you can make use of markers. Make sure that you have not selected any clips and hit them. So a marker will be dropped here. You double click that and select any color which you require, and then you can set this duration. So if you are selecting the specific duration, if you are editing a video for 30 seconds, you can give 30 seconds and hit OK, so that marker will be made with that duration. So you can use this as an indication to edit your project. You can follow me on my YouTube channel Adeep K to stay updated about new courses and free tutorials. I also recommend you to go to my website adeepk.com and go to the download section. Here you can download a free Premiere Pro editing keyboard layout. You can register your details to get the same. It can be used to edit videos faster. I hope that you found this course useful, and I wish you best of luck for the future.